Hello, you.
Hello, you.
Feels like ages since I've been here.
It's been a whole one day off?
Been a whole day. And someone even tweeted saying, what's happened to you at Cultaholic? Is everything all right? I'm like,
I meant it really
gone
good
a
as
day.
joke. You haven't been fired yet.
I'm a massive fan of working somewhere where your first public warning is in song form, though. I'm excited.
First and final, by the way.
I was hoping
you've had a little haircut. Look at this. He's looking
I
grand.
thought I'd make a little effort for coming back. Here's some Monday flavoured news. We have some major changes to the planned WrestleMania card. We'll run down everything confirmed for tonight's episode of Monday Night Raw. And a former WWE star has called Vince McMahon a lazy asshole. Find out who in a little while. Two major surprises in the wrestling world this weekend. Number one, me winning second prize in the raffle at the wrestling show I went to on Saturday. Look at that. What an honour and a privilege. And the other is the card for WrestleMania 36.
I heard the frame go there. That's your...
It's fine.
That's your pride and joy.
It's fine. It landed on Gia Adams. It's fine. And the other is the WrestleMania card, which we genuinely felt was set in stone.
Yeah, it seemed like it's been reported for a long, long time now that the two planned matches that we're going to talk about here are John Cena versus Elias and Roman Reigns versus The Fiend.
Now, the John Cena-Elias match, when it was announced, people went, where? But they've actually got multiple years of... The only other person to feud with John Cena over multiple WrestleManias was The Rock.
Really?
Yes.
Orton. They wrestled forever. No, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right.
The Elias Cena WrestleMania feud is basically the new streak.
So the story here is that these two matches that we all thought were set in stone aren't happening. Meltzer reporting that those two matches aren't on the table anymore. It's not being reported what's going to replace them. However, I would suggest, I think what we're going to get is Cena versus Goldberg. I think that's the match now.
Oh!
Although there were reports last week that maybe we should just wait for the build. Maybe we should just shut up. But no. I think we're going to get, because that's a big, marquee money match for casual fans. People want to see that.
That isn't the speculation I've heard, my brother.
Go on.
Well, the speculation I've heard is that Goldberg will be competing against Romulus Reigns.
That makes sense as well. Spear off.
Yeah. Spear off. And John Cena will be facing The Fiend. That's the other spec I've heard.
That's better because Cena putting over The Fiend.
Ooh.
Cena rise above hate and all that nonsense, and then The Fiend comes in and is hateful and batters him. Lovely.
Now, there is a couple of, again, this is all speculation forever, friend, but there is a little speculation as to why there is suddenly these last-minute changes to WrestleMania.
Because Vince is insane.
There's a bit of column A.
And an asshole, but we'll get to that in a bit.
That's later to come. But there was talk that this quarter we would find out more about WWE's plans for over-the-top pay-per-view subscriptions and how that was going to work, because there were plans that they were in talks with some big companies like ESPN Plus to potentially have events like WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Survivor Series, Royal Rumble on big pay-per-view providers instead of exclusively on the network. Now, we were told we'd have an answer to these questions about this in this quarter.
By the end of quarter one.
By the end of quarter one.
Approaching very, very soon.
So potentially, it could happen as fast as WrestleMania being on ESPN Plus.
Right, and they want a big money match.
Big money match. Maybe they don't feel like...
Cena Goldberg's bigger. For lapsed viewers, Cena Goldberg's bigger.
They want stuff in there for like lapsed viewers, possibly. Cena Goldberg certainly has that appeal to it.
Yeah, but then again, like Reigns versus Goldberg has a bit of that as well. A little, not as much, I would argue, but it'll be 10 people.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on this. Obviously, the other match that was apparently meant to be at WrestleMania that now isn't is Naomi versus Bayley.
Naomi instead is going to be wrestling Super Showdown against Bayley now.
Yeah.
So what's the plan there, Thomas?
Well, I'm a confuzzled bear because
Sasha? It's got to be Sasha, hasn't it?
It just seems strange the fact that they've announced that we've heard that Brodus Clay and Cameron have been approached for WrestleMania. Surely you would have had them in some way part of Naomi's big
You say that, but I
win.
argue that I just don't want to see that because she's so far past that.
Well,
That's below her now.
The alternative then is, if she's not in a WrestleMania match, the alternative is you just put them with the Funkadactyls.
Oh, God.
That's even worse.
Maybe she wins the Battle Royal and then Brodus and Cameron come in and they do their little dance. I don't know what that is.
They do their little dance.
Just like that, ooh-ah. And that's the celebration. They've got something in mind for Naomi. I just don't know what that is. So where does that leave? It's Bayley and Sasha. It's just going to be Bayley and Sasha. Because they're not going to redo Naomi Bayley at WrestleMania. Now they've done it at Saudi Arabia, although they're as big as WrestleMania, if not better.
Interesting times. Obviously, when we know more about it, you'll know more about it as well. So of all the changing for the WrestleMania card, one of the matches that is sticking around is Drew McIntyre challenging Brock Lesnar for the WWE Championship. WrestlingNews.co reporting that the plan currently is for Drew McIntyre to win the whole thing.
Yes, absolutely. Vince McMahon is apparently adamant on this happening. The quote here is that Vince likes everything about him. Didn't the first time around. Oh, he did. He was the chosen one.
He was the chosen one, and we all went, what?
Yeah.
It just took us about a decade to
Oh,
go,
no.
I get it now.
Vince likes everything about him and thinks he represents what the company, represents the company well when he does media appearances. He's a great interview for sure. He looks good and talks good, and that's what Vince is looking for. Drew has already established a relationship with Vince like most top guys do, so that's really promising to hear. This is basically a redo, isn't it? It didn't all work out with Seth beating Brock Lesnar. Like, we were all happy when it happened, and then it was just like Seth started acting up, you know what I mean.
Naughty boy.
Yeah, silly Seth. And I think this is just a redo. This is, let's try it again.
I'm fine with this.
Yeah,
I kind of want this to be the last match of the night. Because then you can do whatever you want then with everything else. And if the results don't go your way, if the last thing we see is Drew claymoring his way into becoming the first British wrestling WWE champion in history ever, then happy days. I'm excited. We were talking about this upstairs in the office. Drew McIntyre's WrestleMania entrance. Right?
It's going to be bagpipes.
Hundreds of bagpipes and drummers playing Scotland the Brave, all down the ring, all down the ramp, all around here, and then it stops. Crowd applause, then they all play his music, he comes out in a kilt. Oh, it's going to be great!
I want to see some Scottish celebrities there as well. I want the Proclaimers there. I want Fran Healy from Travis, of course.
The cast of Still Game.
That one-off Snow Patrol, Gary something. I think they were Scottish.
Gary
Lightbody. Gary Lightbody. And other Scottish people.
WWE's favourite band, Snow Patrol.
The Highlanders. Rory and Robbie, bring them back.
Get in. Speaking of the opponent for Drew McIntyre at WrestleMania, one Brocky Roberts Jonathan Alberto Lesnar, to give him his full name. He's down for Raw tonight.
He certainly is. He's been announced for Raw. He's going to be there. They haven't said what he's going to be doing, but one would assume Ricochet will get the upper hand to give us the false hope before he gets battered on Thursday.
It's so sad that it is such a foregone conclusion that Ricochet is not winning the title.
No.
There is this weird part of you as a wrestling fan where they go, they could just play silly buggers, and it makes no sense to have Ricochet win it. No sense.
He could drop it back at Chamber, couldn't he?
Yeah,
it could happen. It's not going to happen. I'd love it if it did, actually. I think that'd be really unexpected. As long as we get Brock versus Drew, because it's actually a match that I really want to see at WrestleMania.
I'm keen
I think that'd be fun. In fact, no, it makes no sense, does it? Don't do that. Don't do that.
Don't make it happen. Doesn't need to happen.
Also on the show, there are two things being teased. They're not especially big things. Well, they are big things, but they're pretty vague things. The first is that Becky Lynch and Shayna Baszler are going to be in the same building. That's what they said. So what's going to happen there? And the teaser is like WWE.com saying like, is it wise for them to be in the same building? So watch out there. And the other thing is, who will Randy Orton target next?
Ooh. Target.
Who will Randy
target? So it's got to be somebody that's connected to Edge. Christian.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There you go. Christian comes out. Concerto.
That was easy, wasn't it?
That was easy.
Yeah. Gangrel. Do Gangrel first.
Oh my
God. It. Just because I want to see the entrance one more time. The entrance with all that big stuff behind it, the skate ramp and all that. Yes, please. I thought you were trashing your friend.
No.
He's getting excited. He's an excited little boy.
The broke answer is Christian. The woke answer is Gangrel. Vince McMahon is a lazy asshole. Genuinely not my words. The words of one Trevor Murdoch. Remember him from Off of the Past that time, and from Off of NWA Power.
Yeah, great. Right, this was an unexpected one, wasn't it?
Yeah, I wasn't expecting this old Sean Mooney's podcast.
Yeah, so he's speaking to Sean Mooney on Prime Time, and he says, there were 4 or 5 times we weren't being put on TV and we didn't know why. And we went to Vince one time. We said, Vince, you're not putting us on TV. We want to know why. It's like Dr. Seuss, this. And he looked at Lance and he goes, I hate your fake black hair. And he looked at me and goes, I hate your pasty white skin. We said okay, and we got up. The next day I was tan. My partner was blonde. I'll be damned if we weren't on TV that next week. And I'm like, wow, why couldn't it have just happened 3 or 4 weeks ago? Saved us, everybody, time, money. And that was like the beginning of my disdain with the business. That's upsetting to hear. He continues, it really bothered me. Like, wow, all that hard work and one lazy asshole, putting a hold on it. And it really started leading me down my path of maybe this business just isn't for me. And it slowly started making me have disdain for the pro wrestling business. I've heard Vince McMahon called a lot of things. Arsehole is fine, but lazy? The guy sleeps 4 hours a night.
He's in the gym at like 3 a.m. every night.
He is an arsehole. He is an arsehole. That's I'm going to take umbrage with the lazy part of this. Trevor.
What makes it? Is it more the fact that he's lazy because Vince didn't come to hit them and tell them?
I guess so. Yeah, I mean, that's somebody else's responsibility as well. Like, Vince could have just passed that down the line. Or, it's bad that he wasn't told, for sure.
I get the vibe with, and I hear it when I put this together from lots of different interviews with people who've been in the WWE, I do get the vibe that a lot of it is you work on your own initiative.
Yeah.
In the sense that if you wait and just get told what to do, chances are you won't have much to do. And sometimes you've got to make your own luck a little bit, I presume. You just got to go and either go, I've had this idea, or can we work with this, or can we do this? I feel like a lot of that happens. There are a lot of people that, and this is a sweeping generalisation, I'm very aware, but I feel like a lot of people that leave the WWE on bad terms are people that probably didn't have that initiative. Not everybody. Matt Hardy has an abundance of initiative, and that is being left just to...
I think there's a very obvious problem here with the whole Caden Murdoch thing, and that is Trevor Murdoch himself. And it's not to do with his appearance, his wrestling ability, it's to do with the fact that his name is Trevor. And that is the worst wrestling name ever. I've known one Trevor in my life, and I used to go around and bring all my wrestling figures to his house, and he would say, no, Adam, I want to play Sylvanian families. That is the makeup of a Trevor. Nothing wrong with playing with Sylvanian families, but you've got wrestlers there, and then you've got little dweeby mice and badgers and stoats and all that. That's what's wrong with Trevors.
The Badger family would have battered most of the undercard in 2004.
Fair point.
Fair point, well made.
2004? How old do you think I was?
I was
16 in 2004, Tom.
Mate, if you were playing with wrestling figures at 16, that is your cross to bear.
And no offence to Trevor's or Sylvanian Families fans, it just Trevor. Ugh.
Give us a like in the comments if your name's Trevor. I personally think it's amazing. Have a wonderful Trevor. Hey, thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section down below. You can support us on Patreon by going to patreon.com/Cultaholic. Lastly, don't forget to hit subscribe and join us.